Good evening and welcome to Klipkop TV. Now, I spent a lot of time preparing for this, and I was planning on having a great show tonight. Get all the questions answered that was on my mind and on your minds, the questions you guys sent me. And guess what? Mr. Dalton just stopped responding to me. So I'm not sure if he's busy or if he forgot. But I think we should give him a ring. But before I do that, let me first show you guys that I actually did my bit. There's no reason for him not to come on the show. Oh, this Proton Mail is absolutely... On the 29th. It was actually quite nice of him. He was the one that reached out to me. It's after my other live stream where I started looking into Youssef and Zuidland and this whole thing. If you need any info on anything regarding Youssef, Zuidland, Pay App or the new town in the Western Cape, you are welcome to contact me directly. There we go. Brian Dalton, CEO of the Pay App Pty Ltd. Then the next day I replied, "Good day, Brian. Thank you for reaching out. Is it possible that you can join me for a live stream during next week? Will Tuesday 3 September suit you? Regards." Hi Ambro. Absolutely no problemo. Just let me know what time. My days are pretty busy at the moment. Kind regards. Yes, I understand. There's a lot going on your side at the moment. Will Tuesday 3 September 8 p.m. suit you? I will send you a reminder the day before just to confirm. What is your preferred platform? Video calling, Skype or Zoom? And he replied, sounds good. We'll add in my diary. I am on Skype. Send me your details and I will add you. Let me show my face with this. Why not? Hi. Okay, now there I responded with my Skype user profile, and okay, this was still on the 30th when I gave him my profile, and then today at 1 p.m. Good day, Brian. Look, this is when I'm starting to get a little bit concerned because I haven't gotten that Skype invite yet. Are we still set for 8 p.m.? It will be great if we can set up the Skype session like 5 to 10 minutes before the actual live stream begins to ensure everything runs smoothly. You can find my profile here, so I sent it to him again, and I am still waiting a response. So I think I was thinking of giving him an actual call, but in the interest of transparency, I think that call should be done live. Graham the Gorilla is in the easy. Let me put my gefriet back on the screen. Oh no, where's OBS? Graham the Gorilla says, yo, call Josie too. He is live. You know, I'm not even gonna talk about him. Dump Windows, get Linux. You know, I'm just not that computer savvy to just switch operating system. You know, there's so many flavors of Linux, and to me, Linux is good for running a server. You know, when you have a dedicated application. For example, I want an email server. You install Linux on that email server, and you just want to run that email server. Windows has so many built-in features. What I like about Linux is you can really tailor make your operating system to just run the things you need. So there's no extra overheads of things that you will never use, but it's using resources. That's the beauty of Linux. But I've tried it before, and it's not for me. I like to put things into my computer and it just works. Camser with Frikkie, away, lekker. Kyk hierso ouens, we must get Camser with Frikkie on my channel. This bra cups a big beatbox. Graham Gorilla, not all the apps programs run on Linux. True, true, true. Domino Mogul, just tell Brian immediately that he's live if you get through, hey? Well, okay, guys, are we going to do this now? Because I promised you guys a live stream, and like I went live and there's already 14 people watching, and obviously you guys want to see this. And like, let me show you my desktop. Like, I'm not here to waste anybody's time. Yo, I'm so confused now. Here we go. Desktop. Here is like in Notepad, I have a whole list of questions I can ask him, and while I ask the questions, I can show you guys here in my Google Chrome exactly my questions and referring to what and what not. So like, I really had an awesome show planned tonight. He replied. 6 minutes past 8. Bud just walked into the house. Sorry, I'm late. Okay, are we gonna do this? So we are just going to have to like talk smack until Brian responds. Is my Skype open? Let me just reply to him quickly. I'm still getting used to Proton Mail. Reply. Okay. Here we go. Okay, now I need to figure out, so like, I'm not used to Skype. Where do I phone in now? Oof. Can we do the call? I wonder if he's ready now, because it says he just walked into the house. So to do this, if he just walked into the house, he's probably still like combing his hair, putting gel in, you know, and maybe putting a fresh shirt on. I don't know how physically busy he was. Maybe it's like, I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. Spread Linux, spread. Whenever you're ready. Now? Cool, awesome. Let's see if I can get a connection.
Hello.
Good day, Mr. Dalton. Can you hear
How
me?
you doing? Yeah, I can, yeah.
Lekker in yourself. I have a little problem here. My OBS is currently using my video, and I also can't see you. Let me just try to deactivate my camera on OBS. This will only take a minute.
No problem.
Right click properties, deactivate. Let me see. Are you still not able to see me?
I can't see you, but I've got my camera on at the moment.
Okay, I can see you. Maybe if I'm just going to disconnect this call and then try to reconnect again.
Not a problem.
Okay.
You there?
Mr. Dalton.
Now I can see you.
Okay, like I can't see you. Like I'm new to
Yeah.
Skype.
How's it?
I'm good. How are you, bro?
I'm very well, thanks, man.
Um,
Sorry, just a hectic day, But one of those.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I see on your website, you guys are extremely busy at the moment.
Yes, but you have no idea.
Okay, are you currently at Dalton or are you back home in
No,
Gauteng
no,
or
now I'm at home. I'm at home at the
are you
moment.
at home?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to just like somewhat jump into it? My first question would be what exactly is Zuidland and USAF? When I read on your website, it speaks about a virtual nation, a virtual country, and a country without borders. How does USAF and Zuidland fit into that whole picture? And what is the difference between USAF and Zuidland?
Okay. Well, Zuidland obviously came after Youssef. So let me explain Youssef quickly first. So can you hear me all right, Is my headset working or not? Yeah?
Yes, your website is working perfectly.
Okay, cool. All right, so USAF, United Southern African Federation, started out probably about 18 months ago. And in essence, what we decided to do was that if you look at multiculturalism worldwide, it seems to be failing. So we said, well, why don't we go the route of, the same as the United States? So basically what they've got is they've got 52 odd states, and each state is sort of autonomous. They're not quite as autonomous as we'd like it to be, but they are sort of autonomous. And we said, if you look at South Africa is massive. In terms of countries, it's a really huge country.
Yeah.
You look at it compared to any country in Europe, and all those countries are 1/10 of the size of what South Africa is. And the problems we've got within South Africa, and if you look back at history, and we've got 11 official languages in this country, which in essence is 11 separate nations.
Yeah.
Right? And we said, well, why do we all have to be forced together under this supposed rainbow nation and all trying to get along, when in actual fact we all are in some way different? Now, if you look at the white population and the colored population and the Indian population and the Zulu and the Xhosa and all these different nations, why can't we all be looking after and working for ourselves? Right?
Well,
So
I can tell you why.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
Well, because the apartheid government sold this country to the ANC, and the ANC is ruling it as a dictatorship, and they will probably not allow it, not without like massive war breaking out. Like they want to maintain rule of this country. That is why.
Well, they're doing a pretty good job of it,
Yeah, well, so they are doing a pretty good job of maintaining the country, but not running the country, though. Of maintaining the structure of the country, but not running the country.
But even that's going to collapse, and it's only. I say only days. It could be only days away.
Yeah,
I mean, you look.
With what we're seeing in Pretoria today and the other places, burning and looting and.
Pretoria, Johannesburg, Cape Town. We got guys who left from Pretoria to go and do water tests on the farm for us in the Western Cape, and these guys were stuck at the airport all day today.
Okay.
So this is how bad it is. The impact of what's going on in this country at the moment on business is humongous. People have no idea how big this impact is. I understand that it's all started with xenophobic attacks and all this type of thing, and they've always got to have somebody to blame for their own inadequacies. And up until now, it's been, well, let's blame everything on the whites. For the last 25 years, everything's been the white man has caused all of this for us. But in actual fact, it's not, and we know this. We know this full well. So we said, well, okay, we get along with colored folks. We get along with lots of different people in the country. Well, why don't we allow all those people under USAF to rule themselves? Why do we have to be forced into this supposedly rainbow nation, and which is failing in essence? And it's only a matter of time until we see the full extent of that.
Well, there is the haves and the have-nots, and the have-nots will definitely not allow the haves to rule themselves. But moving back to the question.
Well, they're not going to have much choice.
The difference between USAF and Zuidland.
Well, Zuidland came later because Zuidland, in essence, was the start of the USAF concept. So what we said was, well, let's start the first state. And Zuidland is only the first state. There are others. I must just let you know. But there's a group of colored guys down in the Cape. They're busy with their own state, and it's called the Republic of Two Oceans. So they're busy with that at the present moment in time as well. We're obviously assisting them in whatever we can because we were the first, and we're the pioneers. We're making all the mistakes as we go along. So everyone else is going to learn from us.
Okay, so like the way I wrap my head around this is Zuidland is to USAF like Texas is to America.
Correct.
Okay. So correct. I just wanted some clarity on that.
Yeah.
When registering on your website, do you become a citizen of Zuidland or USAF?
Well, in essence, it's both. Because let's say you go and become a citizen of Texas. Mm-hmm. If you go and become a citizen of Texas, in essence, you're inside the USA.
Okay, so but there must be some sort of the distinguishing characteristics of a citizen of Zuidland and a citizen of USAF. Like, what is the difference between Zuidland and any of the other states?
Well, there's not a vast difference. I mean, every other state will decide for themselves what their ethos and viability is. So they'll decide. I mean, just like we've done with ourselves. So in essence, we want to get away from this the type of rule that we've got at the moment, which in essence is socialist, and we want to rule ourselves.
Okay, so one reoccurring thing I saw on your website is a virtual nation and a virtual country, but now you tell me there's states within that country. So like again, this is why I ask, like, what makes you a Zuidland citizen and what makes you a USAF citizen? If everything is virtual, there it is virtual, you know.
No, look, you've got to understand why we went the virtual route. Okay, so let's talk about that quickly. Mm-hmm. So in essence, what you've got is what's the difference between a virtual nation and any other nation on Earth? Well, the simple fact is that it's about land, isn't it? Right?
Well, we must distinguish between a nation and a country, though.
Well, what is the distinguishing? The distinguishing factor would be that a nation would be what you define yourself as.
A nation would be.
So the nation would be the people.
Yes.
Okay, so a country is defined by territory.
Yes, agreed.
Okay, so those are the two differentiating factors. Now, if you look back at the Montevideo Convention, 1933, right? What they stipulated was that for statehood, you needed to have 4 specific things. Now, it's only 4. Those specific things were defined land, a permanent population, a government or some governing body, and the 4th thing was the ability to do international relations, right? Mm-hmm. So the last 2 roughly go together. So a government, in order to do international relations, you need a government, you need some sort of way of controlling all of that. So those 2 basically go together. So in actual fact, it's 3 things. Those 3 things are government, the ability to trade and interact with other nations, a permanent population, and land, right? Now, what is the one thing that's going to spark conflict? That's land.
Yeah,
right?
Okay, for sure.
So we said, okay, well, let's leave land till the end. So we'll do everything else, right? Let's create our own population. Let's create a group of e-citizens. Let's create a government. Let's start formatting a government. Let's be able to trade with other countries. Let's be able to do international relations. All those 3 things, none of them cause conflict. Right?
Yes. Sorry, I interrupted you. Continue.
No, it's fine. So what we did was we created all those things. We're still working on all of them. But the last one is land, right? Mm-hmm. So we then decided, once we had all our committees together, and just out of interest sake, we've got 16 committees, right? Those committees are all working on individual things. So we've got a medical committee, we've got a land committee, we've got guys working on sustainable energies and all that sort of stuff. So we've got a whole lot of stuff going on. We've got a kibbutz committee. Out of those 16 committees, every one of them works on their own specific tasks. Okay, and in total, in that whole lot, we have about 180 people. Okay, so this is not a small organization, all right? And so, for instance, we've got the guys working on renewable energy. Those guys are all looking at solar and wind and all sorts of wave type scenarios. Anything that's going to give us the ability to break away and be autonomous. Because let's face it, I mean, how long do you think Eskom's got?
I don't know. The government said they will support Eskom indefinitely.
With whose money?
With the taxpayers' money, obviously.
And we have a dwindling tax base. So let's say, where's the money going to come from? Well, we're already seeing the situation. I mean, we've got under 10% of the population supporting 90% of the population. How sustainable do you think that's going to be long term? Especially when we've got 3,500 families leaving the country per month at the present moment in time.
Okay, moving on to the next question. When registering, you need to specify your ethnic group, and you guys separated it into black, Asian, colored, Indian, Khoi, white, and other. Why specific go down to your ethnic origin? Because like you said earlier, there's like-minded colored people, and I wouldn't mind living alongside coloreds, as in the same nation, as a citizen of that state or that nation. Why do we have the racial classifications?
Well, we're exactly the same. What we wanted to do was we wanted to find out who it is that's registering. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when we target a specific population, we're looking at who is actually joining us. So are those people minorities in any way whatsoever? Second of all, are they from specific minorities? So are they Indian? Are they white? Are they colored? Are they Khoi, for instance? So we wanted to know. That's all it is. It's just so that we know who's actually signing up.
Okay, let me just get back to my little document here.
Okay.
Now, inside your description of a virtual country and nation, you speak about there's the virtual country and nation is a country without borders. And I'm quoting from your explanation.
Yes.
How can you be sovereign when you have a host nation under whose laws you must fall?
Well, who says you have to fall under those laws? Where does it state that?
Well, the thing is, South Africa, the land mass is one unitary state. It
Right.
says so in the South African Constitution.
Yes,
And
okay.
if Zuidland is going to have a land mass or a territory inside that unitary state, you are going to fall under their laws.
Yes, until we have external self-determination.
Until recognition comes from the international community.
Correct. But let's put that into a bit more perspective. Okay, if I may.
Okay.
I mean, the scenario in terms of that is this. If you're living, let's say you're a South African and you're a South African citizen, you're registered, you've got an ID and you've got a passport, and you go and stay in Australia, you still fall under the Australian rules and regulations, don't you?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're necessarily an Australian citizen.
Well, I'm talking about sovereignty here.
Well, sovereignty and citizenship are two completely different things.
Well,
Right. So what we're saying is we're not saying, so we're saying as a nation, we have sovereignty. And now let me tell you, it does actually bring us certain amount of uniqueness in the international community. Right?
a certain amount of uniqueness. What do
Yes.
you mean by that?
Well, under international law. Okay, now most people don't understand how international law works. Now, in international law, most people think, well, the United Nations has certain things that they've come out about protection of people and so on. But in actual fact, the international law is not about people at all. International law is between states.
Yes. I would agree with that. Now to move on to on the 6th of April, Zuidland declared themselves an independent republic.
No. An independent nation.
Independent nation.
Correct.
I actually have the document yet. Let me just get the correct wording, so I'm not fooling you or the audience. Zuidland Republic Declaration of Independence. That is the heading.
The name of the republic is the Republic of Zuidland. That's correct. But we are we declared ourselves an independent nation.
An independent nation.
Correct.
Okay, why did you do that?
Why?
Yeah.
Because it affords us the ability to forge international relations, which is one of those things under the Montevideo Convention.
Did anybody recognize your
No,
declaration? Nobody.
no, we didn't expect anyone to. I mean, you must bear
Okay.
in mind that this is a process. So one of the things that we're going to be doing now is we're going to be going for internal self-determination. Now, if you understand what the differentiation is, you cannot go for external self-determination until you have achieved or tried to achieve internal self-determination.
Proven that internal remedies has been exhausted.
Correct. And nobody in this country's done that.
Now, to the on the website, I noticed that it's like 23,000 registered e-citizens of Zuidland.
Correct,
So,
yeah.
so what exactly do you need to do to become a citizen of Zuidland?
You just register.
Just pop in your email address, fill in the form, and that's it.
That's it.
So how many of those people do you think might just have been inquisitive to see what is this all about? You know, they're not like really citizens or like aspiring to be citizens.
Well, just out of interest sake, if you went to our Facebook pages, right, and we have a couple of those, you'll see how much interaction there is.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you. I'll just give you an idea, right? So we said to people, we're going to make stands in Dalton available. This is going to be our first town that we're creating. We're going to make those stands available at a really nominal price, right? And we made it available on the Saturday. Do you know that by the Monday we'd sold 500 stands? Now that tells you that people are interested in what we're doing.
Okay. To the next thing I investigated was the pay app system. How
Yes.
it is a digital currency, but not
Yes.
a cryptocurrency. Like, can you explain to me the difference between a digital and a cryptocurrency?
Well, both of them are digital, if that makes sense. But both of them work on your phone or on your PC or whatever. So there's no actual physical money, as in notes and coins, right?
Yeah.
But the difference between us and crypto is that we actually have a backing to our system. So it's not running on blockchain technology. It's not cumbersome. It's not. It doesn't just sit on your phone. We run it off multiple servers. We use interledger technology. So basically what happens is that we have a currency that we created. We have a platform called PayApp that we created.
Yeah.
We have another platform which is called DigiBank, which is for our international marketplace. And all of that, every single rand that gets put in and changed into what is now pegged by US dollars, gets backed by gold, physical gold.
Physical, I read about that. Kruger Rands, correct?
Yeah, Kruger Rands, yeah, which you apparently don't like.
No, I'm not a big fan. It's dirty gold. There's copper inside it.
Well, you can call it what you like. It's the only true currency worldwide that's accepted everywhere in the world.
How to get on the website? Let me just share my screen here quickly. It's unfortunate. Like I'm not a guru with Skype.
No, that's fine.
Let me think. What did the pay app? Where is it now?
Okay, well, while you're finding your stuff, I'll explain a couple of other things while you're at it, because otherwise we're going to run out of time. We could carry on like this for 6 hours. Let me explain to you why we buy Kruger Rands rather than gold bullion. Okay, so Kruger Rands are definable. They're an exact size, weight, dimension, everything. We know exactly what you're getting. You know what you're buying, and we don't pay VAT.
Do not pay VAT.
Correct.
Okay, well, my point that I wanted to make earlier is it says here on the USAF site it is digital cloud e-banking. Now,
Yes.
I did some research on the digital cloud, and
Right.
it is the most unsecure way to host any sort of application. So in my opinion, it is really not suited for a banking application.
Well, that's in your opinion.
Well, I can if you
Well, what I can tell you.
if you want me to go pull up all those little Google searches I did, the problem with cloud banking is you share physical computers and resources with other people that is also hosting on those platforms, which creates a lot of back doors for
Okay, but I understand.
if another person's application is insecure, they can get to your application through somebody else who doesn't do their due diligence.
Yeah, but you're talking about cloud being a different scenario altogether. I mean, what you're saying is that we're somehow linked to other web servers and whatever around the world. We're not. We have our own servers.
Who is your internet service provider for the DJ app? It's AfriHost, right?
Well, AfriHost is basically a link in South Africa. So that's all it is. It's just to speed up the process. But we run servers throughout the world.
Well, that is the whole thing. Those servers are shared with other people.
It doesn't matter. It makes no difference whatsoever. There's a verification process between all of the servers. It's exactly the same as you would look at the scenario with Bitcoin. You can't just go and hack Bitcoin by hacking one server. It's not going to work.
Let me just, sorry, I've got this problem. I must lift myself every now and again.
No, that's fine. See, if you understood how the Interledger protocol works, then you'll understand what I'm explaining. So maybe you can do research on that.
Okay, for sure. I'll go do research on the Interledger protocol.
Interledger protocol, yeah. It was started by Ripple.
Now, it says that when you pay money into your PayApp account, you get Riebeek in return. And
correct.
It says that the Riebeek is pegged to the US dollar.
Yes, correct.
But I'm not sure how you can say it's pegged to the US dollar when you go and buy Kruger Rands with it.
Well, do you understand how gold is priced?
Well, gold can be expressed in terms of the US dollar. It can be expressed in the yen. It can be expressed in...
No. The price of gold is fixed in London in US dollars every single day.
Fixed in London?
Fixed in London in US dollars. I'll send you the info on that, all right?
Like, I really went down into this, and I can see why when buying Kruger Rands, you are actually buying US dollars, how it is pegged, because the US dollar hasn't been pegged to the gold price since 1930, and remnants of that system has been done away with in the 1970s already.
I understand what you're saying, and I understand that you've done some research. What I'm telling you the facts here. The gold price is fixed in London on a daily basis in US dollars.
Okay, so I need to Interledger protocol.
And then everybody else, it takes that rate and changes it into their own exchange rate.
Interledger protocol, and then the gold price. Like I really want you to send me this information, because
I will send it to you.
I really tried my best to get behind this.
I'll send it to you.
Okay, so that is pretty much it for the pay app system.
Okay.
Now Dalton, like this new territory.
Yes.
How does this process exactly work? Like, I see you are selling stands. Like, people pay in their money for a stand. Like, what happens then? What exactly does that person get?
They get a stand.
They get a stand.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you struggling with? I'll tell you what.
Okay. Hold up. I'm going to move to, where's my MS Word over here? There's a document you guys published. How does it work? Dalton, Zuidland. With an introduction and a mission, buying the land, which explains it, and I went through that. And it's unfortunate that I can't share my screen with you now, but there's this little graph with like motherland at the top, then Zuidland and members, and then there's infrastructure, agriculture, etc., etc. To me, it seems like the property you purchased, like I was able to find the property near Aurora. It was advertised for about 10.6 million, correct?
Right.
And okay, so for my calculations, I assumed you guys put an offer to purchase in for 10 million. And in this document, you used a subdividing Dalton, but you use this as an example, like farm price 1 million, farm size 100 hectare. But I punched in the actual Dalton numbers into this thing, and I came across a few numbers. But a company, 'n maatskappy moes gestig gewees het to buy this land? Like the
Yeah.
company purchased it, or which company purchased this?
The company is called Panonacol Pty
Panan.
Limited. Yeah.
I, I
And,
want to
and
look that up.
let me explain this to you quickly. So in order for us to buy the property, we needed to have a shelf company. It took us 3 days. That's all. 3 days. We had a VAT registered shelf company. Cost 12,000 rand.
What is it called again? Banana call.
But actually, it's Panocol.
Pan
Panonacol, yeah.
pan,
Or Pona, I think. Pona.
Banano
No
call.
call. Yeah.
There we
Pty.
go.
Correct.
So banana call is purchasing this land.
That's purchasing the land, yes.
Okay, so now the entire land gets, of the Bananacle, the company gets divided into shares, correct?
Yes.
And when you purchase a stand, you are purchasing shares in Bananacle.
Correct.
But on this graph, like I'm not entirely sure, because it says there's Motherland Pty Ltd, which is Bananacle
Which is
in real life.
Panonacol. Correct.
But
Yes.
but now here's another one, a Members Pty Ltd.
Yes, we still, the lawyers are still busy drawing up all the documentation on the share certificates and the share dealing and the share block system and how it works. And so that's all busy being, this document that you're reading now is just something that gives people an idea of roughly how it's going to work.
No,
Okay.
well, that is exactly what I want to get behind. And
Yes.
I see here you guys split the actual stands and the communal territory on a 60-40% split.
Something like that, yeah.
So, and if all of the resident shares combined, they own 40% in Bananacle,
Yes.
and the other 60% is owned by Bananacle.
Yes.
Okay, so
So you're getting a bit confused here. You're getting confused on your figures. So the
Why?
scenario is this. Let's vergelyk it. Okay.
vergelijk
With
dit.
with another town. Okay.
Okay,
So let's look at something like well, let's look at Pretoria. What town do you stay in?
I'm on the West Coast, Langebaan.
Okay, so let's talk about Langebaan.
Yeah.
You're under a specific municipality, right?
Correct?
I think it's called.
Saldanha Bay Municipality.
Is it under Saldanha Bay? Okay.
Yeah.
So under Saldanha Bay municipality, you've got specific things. You've got schools, you've got shopping centers, you've got roads, you've got land that's not used, you've got farms, you've got a whole lot of different things, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to be exactly the same. In essence, the local municipality owns the roads, the servitudes, the unused land. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we're going to create our own municipality in that area.
Yes. I do
Okay.
understand that. But what I'm leaning towards is, let's say 2 years, 3 years, 10 years down the line, something
Right.
happens. Maybe the state forces you to sell the land, etc. Then
They
from
can't.
that, they're already
can't.
implementing legislation to take the land
can't.
without compensation.
They can't do it. The way we've done it, they won't be able to do it.
The way you've done it, they won't be able to do it.
Won't be able to do it, yeah.
Okay, then that's the end of it.
No, well, I mean, the scenario is, if I go into all the technicalities here, I'm not sure you're going to understand how it works. So, in essence, if you understand what a usufruct is.
Youssef, no.
Usufruct. That's right on your little list there. Right on your list.
What?
Research a usufruct. Usufruct, okay. I'm not sure exactly how you spell it. I would have to go and check. But in essence, what a usufruct is, it means that everybody that's living on the land has what you would term a lease agreement. Mm-hmm. Now, under law, lease always comes before ownership. So even if the government does come and take the land, they can't put the lessee out.
Okay.
Okay, so these are things you need to understand in terms of legalities under what we're doing. All right.
Well, it's good we're having that talk then now, eh?
Exactly. No, exactly. Because it's extremely important that people understand this. So everybody who comes in will own a share in the PTY, whichever that will be at the time, and we're not sure exactly what the lawyers are going to do in terms of that. What we needed this shelf company to buy the land. So that's what we've done. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how that's going to be divided up and the shares are working and all that sort of thing will be coming out in the next week or two. Second of all, everybody will then everyone who's now bought a stand will have a lease agreement to live on that land.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, under that lease agreement, there's nobody, I promise you now, they can take us to high court, my friend. They will have a battle for the next 30 years on their hands. They'll never, ever take it off people. Never.
Is it legal to buy a piece of land, subdivide the plots, and rent those plots out as residential areas?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is it legal to take a piece of land and build 300 shacks on it? Is that legal?
No, it is not.
Well, so who stops them?
The thing is, displacements do take place. Like the people get evicted.
Yeah, very few.
From government land as well.
Yeah,
People
very
do
few.
get evicted.
Very few. The difference here is we own the land.
I punched in those numbers. For my calculations, I assumed the purchase price is going to be 10 million rand, and I also rounded the farm size, which is 1,160 hectares. I rounded that down to 1,000 hectares, just to simplify the calculations a little bit. It's going to be a little out, but it's almost spot on.
Okay.
So with the farm size of 1,000 hectares, and the size allocated to stands is 400 hectares, that will make the price per square meter about R2.50.
Right.
That is the purchase price. Now the first lot was selling at, I did the same calculation, was being sold at 10 rand per square meter for the stands. The second lot, the 1,000 meter square stands, was selling at 15 rand a square meter. Right. And now the third lot, you've got like different sizes you can buy, but it's all the same lot, is 20 rand per square meters.
Right. Okay.
So if I purchased 100,000 rand stand from the third lot,
okay,
and that means my equity in Panacol, or my shares in Panacol, is 0.125%.
Okay.
So if the situation arises that the farm needs to be sold, my 0.125% will then become 12,500 rand.
Well, hang on a second. You got to bear in mind that's just the land. Now you're going to have people come and build on the land. Now, are you going to value the infrastructure that's built on the land? You haven't taken that into account. You haven't taken into account all the roads and infrastructure that needs to go in as well. So who's paying for the cost of that? Now you've taken into account 200 hectares of 1,100 hectares in total. We're going to have farmland, we're going to have a kibbutz, we're going to have shopping places, there's a whole lot of other stuff that's going in. Okay.
Now,
so add that to your calculation.
How do I add that to my calculation? With the example I took from your document.
Yeah.
That is exactly like I punched those numbers in.
Yes, but it's just basics, just to show people how to calculate the stands and what we're doing, and it's not unreasonable. You know what I'm saying?
It says here the members Pty Ltd, they will own around about 40% of Panacol.
Yes.
And
Bananacol, I think. Yeah.
Bananacol, so sorry.
Yeah.
And Zuidland will own the other 600,000 shares. So if something arises, you are obligated to pay the members their share, which is a fraction of the purchase price.
No, I mean, you're talking just about the land. I mean, what about all the infrastructure that's going to go in as well? Does that have no value?
Well, the thing is, there is no infrastructure yet. That is the whole thing. Well, there is the basics that is there at the moment. Yes.
But somebody has to put that in, don't they?
For sure.
Yeah. So there you go. There's where the cost is.
Well, I'm not sure why there's a differentiation between there's Zuidland shares and there's member shares. Shouldn't the members own all the shares?
No, what are you talking about, Zuidland share? We're talking about municipal shares. So somebody has to take responsibility for all the infrastructure. You know,
Yeah.
the water, the tanks, the sewage, the roads, the stormwater drains, the all that sort of stuff has to be put in. Somebody has to take responsibility for that. So what we've said is that's going to be the responsibility of the municipality.
But those shares are held by the directors of Zuidland of
No, they'll be held.
Pananapol.
No, it'll be held by all the members. See, this is what you're doing is I'm saying to you, Pananakol was the purchase vehicle. We're saying the member vehicle might be a separate vehicle altogether. So that's what the lawyers are busy working out now. So you're taking something and saying this is the way it is, but in actual fact we don't know yet.
Well, so the thing is, I'm taking this stand purchase document on face
Right.
value. You say that there's something more updated and more in detail because from here it wasn't very clear. This is how I understood the document, and if
Right.
you say there's something else coming out, I will look into that.
No, absolutely.
But
Look, you must understand, and let me just give you a little bit of an understanding of why we're doing this so fast. So we could have said, okay, well, let's wait before we sell any stands, before we allow people to buy shares in this whole concept. We'll wait until all the documentation's done. Well, by that time, we might have civil war. So we're moving as fast as we can. So we're doing 10 different things all at the same time. All right. So we said to people, you can buy in if you want at this point in time, but understand, it's an unserviced stand. It's going to be a share block system. This is basically how the system's going to work. We haven't forced anybody to pay money in. We're saying if you want to, pay your money in. If you don't, you don't. If you don't pay in, you're going to fall to the back of the line. That's how it works. Okay. But let me tell you something. Within the next 6 months, we'll have created a town from nothing. 6 months. You tell me anywhere else that's been done.
well, the town hasn't been created yet, so it hasn't been done yet.
No, well, it has on paper.
It has on paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in essence, if all goes well within the next week to 2 weeks, we will have that land, and then it starts moving.
Okay, moving on to the last section I have. Now, this is the
Yeah.
section you are going to you're going to like the least because
Okay.
in the whole pay app system and the whole Zuidland and Dalton and Youssef,
Yes.
the whole you have to put a lot of trust in the leadership of who's driving this thing.
Yes.
Now, tell us about King Kubaha Cornelius III.
It's not even worth talking about.
Well, the thing is, we should because like I said in my previous live stream, there's people that glorify Youssef and there's people that like really shun Youssef, and the people
Yeah.
that shun Youssef bring Kubaha Cornelius.
Yeah.
They bring that whole situation up the whole time. So let's clear the water there. What happened
Well,
there?
well, let me explain to you quickly what happened. So Rodney and myself, when we eventually came together, we decided to start USAF. We're businessmen. We're not political people. We're not interested in politics whatsoever. So what we decided was we said, okay, from a business perspective, how do we make this stuff work for us, right? So we said, okay, well, let's find the quickest route to market. Okay, so if we want independence, what is the quickest route to market? And we'd heard about the so-called King Kubaha III. Okay, so I went out of my way to find this guy, and let me tell you something. It was a right task to get in touch with him because he's scared of everybody. So eventually got a meeting set up. We had to go through this whole rigmarole of going through his top generals or some rubbish before we were able to see him. But we did have a meeting with him. And then we said to him, okay, we have certain attributes and we have certain skills. If you legitimately have the right as the king of the Khoisan people, right? And what you've said, the United Nations has told you and accepted that you are going to secede from South Africa, then we're going to come along with that, right? And he said, cool, let's do that. Subsequent to that, we then find out when we eventually decide, and in fact, it had taken us about 6 months to get to talk to the UN. They said to us, we don't even know who he is. They said to us that there's no such thing as a First Nation secession. It doesn't exist. They said to us, if we go down this path, the only way we're going to win this is the man with the biggest gun wins. So we said, okay, well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. So we go back to Kuba, and he's now telling us, no, this is all legitimate. He's submitted this and that and this and that. But in actual fact, he was lying to us.
Okay, I'm going to refer to a Facebook post now. I can't share my screen with you, but
that's fine.
Share it with the viewers.
You haven't got a mirror?
No, unfortunately not. Oh, jeepers crumbs! Now I can't find that piece. But anyway, there was quite a bit of money was donated by USAF citizens or registered e-citizens towards this cause.
I'll tell you how much. 60,000 rand.
60,000 rand. Like the one I've got was more like 400,000 rand.
No. The rest was put in by Rodney and myself.
Okay, so that came out of pocket.
That came out of our pockets. Yeah, Rodney and myself were at the present moment in time on that whole thing that happened, about 500,000 rand down.
Okay, so the 60,000 rand that came from the pay app donations and the registrations, etc.
No, there was no. It wasn't from pay app. It wasn't from registrations. It wasn't from anything like that. It was donations.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a bit of extra trouble to get to I had it open. I swear I had it open.
No, that's fine.
With the actual breakdown of the bank statement. Here we go. USAF Pay App Digibank consolidation report. Registered members 23,000. Registered Pay App members about 2,000. Active Pay App members about 766. Now, Pay App account activation fees 76,610 rand, and then USAF donation is 66,000. So, to me, it looks like the Pay App account activation fees were included in this money.
No, look, the amount. It's like I said to you, there was about 60,000 rand that was donations that went directly to King Cornelius. The rest of it was all either from Pay App or Rodney and myself directly out of our pockets.
Oh, what was this money used for?
For Cornelius.
For Cornelius.
There were certain things. I mean, obviously he was paying for a certain lifestyle. We were paying for we paid for all the production of all the flags. That was about 100 grand.
The flags was a shop item which you sold, correct?
No. We gave them all to him.
Did you give all the flags to him?
Yes, he went and raised them up at Parliament. I don't know if you know about all of that.
I know about the flag raising. Like the media really took the mickey out of you guys. It was to be honest, it was a laughing stock. Everybody laughed at you.
Yeah, it was. I agree with you. He specifically said that for the raising of the flags, he didn't want any of us involved. Him and his people were going to do it, and it was a complete disaster. I still said to him at the time, if you put the flags up, make damn sure that you keep those flags up for at least 7 days. Well, let me tell you, I think half an hour later, the South African government pulled them down and put the flag back up again.
So, how many flags did you guys put up?
Yes, I think at the time they put up about 10 or 12 flags or something.
Was it all over the Cape or?
No, it was just at Parliament.
Just at Parliament? Yeah.
But they did hand the flags out to all of their people all over the Cape, and they were supposed to pull them up at police stations and libraries, and wherever they fly a flag, they were supposed to put those flags up. Well, we never saw them.
Okay, now moving on. There's more, but this is just the little thing is. I don't know how this is applicable to the whole thing, but it seems that the USAF account is linked to this company. Who or what is Mesogen?
Mesogen is the company, the shelf company that PayApp was started in.
Okay.
So we have a company called Mesogen. We've subsequently now registered PayApp Pty Limited.
Yeah.
Which has now got bank accounts with Nedbank, and we're actually going to close down all of the Mesogen stuff and move everything now to PayApp.
Yes,
But it's a process. It's a process, my friend.
I looked it up on CPIC, and it looks like Mesogen is being deregistered, and
That's why we're closing it all down.
it hasn't filed returns in a few years.
But there's nothing to file. What must we file?
Okay, and
I mean, the company, it hasn't even been going a year. Why would we file stuff?
another business you were involved in is Angel Moolah.
Yeah.
Well, what happened to Angel Moolah?
Well, it's very simple. Angel Moolah was a social lending concept.
Mm-hmm.
So now social lending works. In essence,
it's almost like back a buddy.
well, in essence, what you've got is you've got people who've got money and people who want to borrow money, and you put the two of them together without any banking institutions. That's all it is. It runs in the UK. It's called Zoppa. It runs in the States. It's called Prosper. There's various different organizations around the world. I was involved with a company called Zoppa in the UK, and I came back to South Africa and I started Angel Moolah. Right? At the time, and I can show you all the documentation if you were around here, I could show you. But we sent all the documentation of every single thing we were doing and how the functionality worked and everything to the lawyers of the Reserve Bank, right? 7 months before we launched. I've got an email from the head lawyer at the Reserve Bank saying, if you don't hear from us, assume everything's correct. So we launched. 3 days later, they shut us down. Shut us down by threat of jail, hey?
Threat of jail.
Threat of jail. They said to me, if you don't shut it down, we'll have you in bars by tonight. So we shut it down. If I knew what I knew now, I promise you now, I wouldn't have shut it down.
And
but it's a good concept. It's a really good concept. And that concept is a threat to the banks, because the banks make all the money out of lending. When in actual fact, it's your money. Why don't you make the money?
And what happened to Postco?
No, Postco still exists. Postco is
Postco still running.
No, it's not running. It's a postal services concept.
Concept.
Yeah,
so
concept.
The concept is still running.
Well, listen to the scenario. The concept's still running. Listen to the scenario. The postal services in this country has all but died. So we created a concept that could take over from it. Okay. And we'll use it within our own system.
I'm not entirely sure. What do you mean by we created a concept? So it's not an actual. There's no services you get from Postcode. It's just a concept.
Not at the moment. No, we created a whole concept of how it could work.
So for example, Postnet.
Yeah, I know Postnet very well. I owned various Postnets.
So it's basic.
No, it's not like Postnet at all. Not at all. Postnet does two things. If you go into Postnet and you want to send something, you're sending something via courier only. We created a postal concept. But we can only launch that and get it going when the postal services collapses. Otherwise, it's illegal.
Okay, that basically is like sorry, I had to end off with the.
I don't mind.
With the nasty questions.
I don't mind talking about businesses that I've been involved in. I've been involved in lots and lots of businesses.
But
so, yeah.
For me as an outsider who's not like part of the Zuidland inner circle and who does not know you and Rodney personally,
I understand that. Yeah.
This Kuba Cornelius the third thing, I think that there was absolutely no due diligence done from your side.
We couldn't. We tried to. Let me tell you, we tried. The United Nations is not that easy to have a conversation with.
And as nowhere along the line, you guys thought like maybe we need to like not back this guy so much. Maybe we like need to go check our facts first. But like everything just went ahead.
Well, just out of interest's sake, the people who lost the most money was Rodney and myself.
Well,
so yeah, we took the risk. We took the risk.
Now the whole thing is the people that took the risk on King Kuba Cornelius is also the people that's taking the risk on Dalton and the pay app system and digibank system, and it is for me personally, it's too many red flags to get involved to actually put money into the system, or actually go buy a stand, because from the history, I feel there's just a very, very high likelihood that I'm going to walk away with nothing.
Why is there a high likelihood?
Do
you not think that if you stay in the South African current situation that we've got now, the likelihood is almost 100% guaranteed that you're going to lose everything?
Well, we have to sort of wait and how things pan up. Because
No, we're not prepared to sit and wait. We're not prepared to sit and wait.
Because things are going down the toilet. That doesn't mean now you have to take all your life savings and toss it to somebody that says we might have a solution. You know.
Okay, so when the South African rand collapses, now let's look at Zimbabwe. Okay, so when they expropriated the first piece of land in Zimbabwe, what happened?
Tell me.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. The Zimbabwean dollar lost 75% of its value overnight. So let's say you've got X amount of money in rands, okay, just sitting in rands. Let's say you got 100,000 rands sitting in the bank.
Yes, it's going to devalue. Yeah.
The following day, it's 25,000 in value.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying,
what I'm saying to inflation, yes.
So what I'm saying to you is that at some point in time, you've got to take the risk. Yeah. So we're sitting in that situation. We're taking the risk personally. We're involved in this. Rodney and myself are actually going to move down there because we want to get away from this. Yeah.
We
don't want to have
I'm in Langebaan. I'm going to come check up on you guys.
You
My
must come see
video
us.
camera and everything.
We know Langebaan well, eh? We often do.
Thank you very much for the chats. I'm waiting for those documents. I'm going to keep my beady eyes on them. The thing is, what's driving me at the moment in my channel is self-determination. So I'm keeping a close eye on Urania. I'm keeping a close eye on the ULA, and I'm keeping a close eye on yourself, Youssef.
Okay.
So I know that there's a bit of mud flinging between the groups, etc., etc.
There's no mud.
I try not to get involved in that, but I just want to like understand the concepts of every group and like so what type of person must go for what. In my honest opinion, I can't see why all the groups can't exist and still do their thing. Because like so if you support ULA, that means you can't be a Youssef. Like you can for sure you can be. You can support both.
No, listen, no, don't be like that. We have avidly said to our people, our members, we don't have a problem. If you want to join ULA, we don't have a problem whatsoever. Mm-hmm. What we're not going to do is we're not going to go along with a system that is not going to happen. That's what we're saying to you. So we've said to everybody, and the whole ethos about this is go and look at the numbers, man. I mean, they're getting X amount of people signing up per day. All right, work it out. Hein Marx himself said at the present rate, and this was months ago, at the present rate, it was going to take them 10 years. I'll tell you what, it's rather going to take them 30 years. Okay. So they're not getting anywhere, and they're not getting anywhere fast. We don't have time. We don't have time.
To me, the ULA, USAF, and Urania, the time frame in which they will get things achieved all depends on how quickly Cyril Ramaphosa turns up the heat. The quicker he turns up the heat, the quicker people will start looking for solutions like these.
They've already been looking for solutions for a long time.
And but like especially now with the protest, even the general population, the communist hordes, they are definitely turning up the heat at the moment. So I think this is going to be a hot topic within the next month at least, if things continue the way they do. I've kept you busy for an hour. I know you're a busy man, but like I would really like to give my viewers an opportunity to also ask you a question. And
it's fun.
I'm a huge smoker, and there's a sort of a chat delay. So I'm going to light a cigarette. And if anybody has a question, please @Klipkop me so I can actually see it pop out in yellow. And I will put the question to Brian. Because the guys are like talking like amongst each other, and like I can't go through everything again. If you had a question and you want to ask Brian now, here's your chance.
Shoot. So let me just while we're waiting, what happened to that restaurant in Langebaan? I mean, there was a lekker place to go and eat. What happened there?
Well, it caught fire.
How?
It's as simple as that. I didn't go through the whole investigation or what exactly happened there. No, it's Driftwoods. There's the name. I don't know if you have noticed. Oh, you're a smoker as well.
Yeah, I'm smoking this vape thing.
Ronaldo Ghost. No, I'm not, you noticed earlier I am in a wheelchair, so I don't get out that often. So like I know about driftwoods. I know the biggest thing about driftwood is it was a fire. It was sad, and like most of the community, like it was like a what's the right word for it? It was a so also a gedenkteken. It's something that creates the town. Like it's
Yeah,
part of Langebaan. It's part of Langebaan personality.
yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay, we have some questions coming in.
Okay.
Rupert Marks asked, "What about security? Like, how are you going to secure Dalton?"
Okay, well, those people who know what USAF is and how it works, they'll know that we work very closely with Boere Legioen.
Okay.
And we always have. Boere Legioen and USAF just are a good fit. I have a major amount of respect for General Isak van Zyl, and he's heavily involved in USAF. In fact, he is one of the leaders within the USAF group. So he's heavily involved in this, and they are a civil protection organization. So when you ask how we're going to protect our people, Boere Legioen is what it is.
But didn't they promise to protect the sovereign state of Good Hope as well?
Well, there was an agreement between us and them and Sovereign State of Good Hope. There was that
Yeah.
agreement at the time, yeah.
Henry
But
van Zyl asks, "Does the man have Bitcoin?" I'm
who,
assuming
myself?
I'm assuming he's asking you if you have Bitcoin.
I do have Bitcoin, yes.
And like, I'm not going to go into detail how much you have. None of my business.
But does he want to pay me some Bitcoin in case I don't have any? No, that's fine. No, I do have Bitcoin.
Free de Boer. Can the rand be kept afloat artificially through quantitative easing, et al. When land gets expropriated?
Yeah, but the rand will collapse in that case. Quantitative easing is not going to help it at all.
I don't even know what quantitative easing is. Or if you want to like finish, sorry, I interrupted again. Go ahead.
No, I don't mind whatsoever. I mean, the problem you've got with the South African rand is not about numbers and volume. The government's not printing money at the moment. What's happening is that there's absolutely no value in South Africa in the international community's eyes. That's where we're sitting.
Well, you must excuse me for my knowledge. I think that is what makes my channel so lacquer, because like most people aren't financial buffs, and like the type of stupid questions or things that I don't understand and or what I ask is the type of questions that the regular viewers and the normies would ask. Now Midnight 8761 asks, "So who keeps the Kruger rands? If things go south, will the value be divided back to its citizens?"
Well, they're already divided back to the citizens. Each person that has a stake in a gold savings account has a portion of those Kruger rands. So yes, it is. But it's stored at Knox Vaults in Johannesburg, which used to be the old US embassy. It's as safe as it's possibly going to get in South Africa. We're not guaranteeing that it's 150% safe. We don't know what this government's capable of. But we're looking at the present moment in time of gold storage in the UK and Switzerland, possibly even Australia. There's various options that we have there, and we're busy negotiating deals on that at the moment. So that's where we are. But yeah, we had to start somewhere, and Vox, the vaults in Johannesburg is the best option at the present moment in time.
Okay, it seems that that is it. Is there anything else you want to end with? I've got about 30 people watching now, and usually I get about like 200, 250 viewers. So is there anything you would like to add? But one more question. Here's Colin Attenbury. Why is there a financial hurdle to register your business in Zuidland? And why not just trade as a sole proprietor in Zuidland?
Well, it's not about that, and we're not actually registering the businesses at the present moment in time. We have a committee that's busy looking into that, and they're working on all the registration documents and everything else that needs to be done. So we're not quite there. Yes, you can go online and you can actually register a business by filling in the form, but that doesn't mean that the business gets registered as yet. Okay. So we're busy gearing up for when we have Dalton existing. All right.
Okay, I think that is the last question. Is there anything you would like to say in closing? Punt Dalton or your businesses.
No,
You can
I'm
do
not.
whatever. This is your 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever you want.
No, we've not always said that we know exactly how to do everything. We're flying by the seat of our pants here. What we do know is that we're in the danger in this country. I know you guys in the Western Cape aren't as scared as we are up here, but in Johannesburg, life is getting very hairy, my friend. I promise you now.
The
Just
thing is,
just going from one place to another is a risk in this country.
here in the Western Cape, things are heating up,
Yeah, they are.
and economic migrants is a thing, and with economic migrants comes all the trouble that you see in Johannesburg,
Yeah,
etc. And we are seeing more and more of that here, especially things like the farm killings as well. It has escalated a lot in the Western Cape. Like just burglaries, like in Langebaan itself, has also
yeah.
escalated. So like what is happening in Pretoria and Johannesburg at the moment is like a look into the future of what the Western Cape will be within a few years if we don't stop this.
Correct, exactly. I mean, last year I stayed about 5 or 6 months down in Gordons Bay, and I promise you, the people in Gordons Bay didn't have a clue what was coming. Didn't have a clue. I mean, they're living with fences that are 3 foot high just to keep the dog in. No, man. If we had a fence, if you lived in a house in Johannesburg now that had a 3 foot fence, you're going to get burgled 3 times a week.
I can imagine.
That's how bad it is. It really is that bad. I
But
mean, we in Johannesburg alone, we've got 55 hijackings a day. Work that out. Extrapolate that out. You know how to do your figures there. Work it
yeah,
out. Work that out. I
I
mean,
do love a calculator. Yes.
it's not. This is not the way to live, eh? My son is actually studying in Scotland, right? And he goes out with his mates and walks home at 3 o'clock in the morning. No risk whatsoever. Why have we got all this risk in this country? Why do we have to live with this? Why should we have to live with this?
Because we are living under majority rule. That's why.
Yeah, but there's a big problem with that, eh? They also live under majority rule.
Yeah.
They also have a democratic society. The
And
difference there is they have a 3% unemployment. We have a 63% unemployment. Why have we got a 63% unemployment? Because the government couldn't care less.
I don't believe we live in a true democracy. I believe we
No, we
live
don't.
under majority rule. A democracy respects minority rights.
Well, the biggest problem we've got is that no matter what we do, if you take all the minorities of this country and we get them all together and we all vote for the same party, we still can't win. We still don't win. That's how bad it is. We're less than 20% of the population. And so therefore we don't even have a political voice.
Well, that is it from my side. Thank you very much for taking an 1 hour and 15 minutes from your time to
That's a
speak to
pleasure.
Klipkop and clarify the everything that I had to ask. I am waiting for that whole share scheme. This whole share scheme is really fascinating me, and I'm looking for somewhere to stab you guys with. So like, please be sure everything is in order.
You and everybody else. So we're fine. We don't have a problem with that.
Okay. But
All right.
thank you
Thanks,
very
Clifford.
much.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Okay, guys, let me see if I can put my face back on the screen. Like, my live streaming is done so bad at the moment. Logitech properties. Activate. There we go, guys. I've got a few things that he told me to look up. I'm still not convinced that when you buy Kruger Rands, all of a sudden your money is pegged to the US dollar. I don't understand how that works. You guys were pretty active in chat and there was like 40 concurrent viewers. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to speak about number 13. If there's anything that you would guys like to hear about myself or other opinions I have on USAF, like, please speak now. Because I've got nothing else that is prepared. Gold is pegged to the US dollar. Like, I can't understand how it is. The gold price internationally is priced in US dollar. Things, but it is priced in yen as well. But he told me like to go look up what is this thing. I did write it down. Youssef. I'm not even sure if that is. The K rands are international. Kruger rands. Well, if that is it, that is if the trading currency varies on demand. As soon as okay, I might be wrong about the whole the dollar is pegged to the Kruger rand, which is definitely possible, but I am still concerned that about this the whole Kuba Cornelius thing. It's almost like proof that they don't do due diligence, you know, and it's almost like the Kuba Cornelius thing happened, and it's now like, oops, it happened. And what if this whole Dalton thing turns out the same? The thing is with the Kuba Cornelius thing, they lost a few 100,000 rand out of their pockets. The people who donated money, okay, it was donation, so they were throwing the money in the water anyway. But that is 66,000 rands down the drain. But now we're talking about like millions. Maybe SAA wants to hop on with you. More pleasant chat. Who is SAA? But anyway, guys, I think I'm going to end it off there. Sunny Savannah, did you only tune in now? Oh, you are breaking my heart. I think around about like 10 minutes ago, Ronaldo must have entered that ended his stream because all of a sudden my view count South Africa awakening. For sure, we can have South Africa awakening on. Why not? I noticed he is here in the chat. Like, well, why can't I speak to him? It is clear from his comments like he's not very happy the way I am portraying Youssef, but I'm just gonna speak what's on my mind, you know, because the whole system seems a bit dodge, and that is exactly why I'm doing like thorough research to make sure exactly what is happening. This whole share scheme, I'll just like read it over and over and over until I understand it, because the share scheme got explained in this document over here, but now he told me like this is just a concept. It is not how it's going to work. So I was assuming this is how it's going to work because the right here it says, let me put the main screen on. Right here in this document it says, how does it work, Dalton Zuidland. So I assume this is how it is going to work. Oi, oi, oi. Rupert Marx. End of the day, we will have to fight for our right to self-govern. The thing is, Urania is fighting for that right. The ULA is fighting for that right, and USAF is fighting for that right, and I support everybody who is fighting for that right. I can sort of understand the masses. If you are in need and if you are in poverty, the idea that everybody has to share all their wealth equally amongst each other sounds good because you will end up with more than you had. But for the people that has more than the other people has, it's a very bad idea. And I believe in individualism, although I think being an individualist in South Africa is not a clever thing to do, because individualists can be taken, can be used and abused by populists. They are learning as they go, but I haven't seen any malicious intentions. Well, I don't know if South Africa Awakening is still on. If they are on, I don't know if South Africa Awakening is still on. If they are still on, I can reply to him, get in contact. I don't know, does he have a Twitter or an email? I can contact him. We can have him on the show and we can discuss it. I don't have a problem with that. But in any case, thank you very, very much for tuning in. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. And I still haven't had dinner. I'm going to have a little bit of dinner now. Thank you very much for tuning in and safe massacres.